The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is one of the greatest video games ever created, and as pretty much every Zelda game before it, it has a phenomenally atmospheric soundtrack. The Zelda soundtracks has always had an amazing ability to strengthen the ambience of the game with just a few nice music notes and appropriately picked instruments. And in my opinion, Zelda Breath of the Wild does that just as good, if not better, than any other Zelda game before it. It may not have as many memorable tracks as previous titles, but rather prioritizes having every location sound like it needs to sound in order to fit the surrounding landscape, without disrupting the harmony of your journey. Today, I'm going to count down the top 10 tracks from Zelda Breath of the Wild that is the best in storing my emotions and painting the perfect picture in my head through its music. Keep in mind that music is extremely subjective, you can't expect me to have the same favorite tracks as you do. Yet, I hope you can enjoy this ride through Hyrule with me, and judge the video based on its quality and not whether I like the same tracks as you do. Now let's go. Number 10. Kakariko Village. Okay, let me be clear with you, Kakariko Village was probably my most anticipated track for this game. I love the theme from both Twilight Princess and Ocarina of Time, and I was expecting something within the same style as the Ocarina of Time one. But to my surprise, we ended up with this. When I first heard this music, I was actually kinda disappointed, and I honestly don't know why. This music is amazing, very fitting for the culture-rich and historical Kakariko village. It may have a little more Japanese vibe than expected, but damn do I love it. It sounds so authentic, as if the music is being played from street musicians around the village. It makes the village feel so much more alive, even more alive than it already is. Almost as if it represents the village's former glory before the Great Calamity. It's a song about nostalgia and longing back to the good old days. That's very symbolic and really creative. Number 9. Vah Ruta Dungeon Phase 2 to 5. While all the Divine Beast quest was awesome, Vah Ruta is my clear favorite of the 4. Vah Ruta was my first Divine Beast, and before that, the game had been pretty light for the most part. It wasn't until this, within the Divine Beast Vah Ruta, that I understood that shit was serious. Before I had taken control of any terminals, the music actually sounded pretty peaceful. I could obviously hear that something was wrong, because the background noise sounded like screeching metal, which ain't exactly no good sign, but it didn't really sound that urgent, if you catch my drift. It rather gave a feeling of pureness mixed with the grandness of the Divine Beast. The music made me feel small and helpless, as if I was just a small bug within this giant corrupted mechanism. But then boom, one terminal activated and this sinister ass music just annihilates everything pure or light about anything and just gives off this very dark and malicious vibe. It is as if though you understand what has happened inside here, how the disgustingly evil water-black Ganon killed a defenseless Mipha while she prayed for mercy, and you're suddenly aware of your importance in all of this. It urges you to hurry up and free this Divine Beast, cause Mipha is in pain. What this music does that separates it from all the other dungeon tracks is that while all the other tracks starts off ominous and then gets more and more hopeful as you proceed, this theme does the complete opposite. You can especially hear it on the 3rd terminal, when this extremely unsettling organ adds to the theme. This effect really makes you understand that you shouldn't be wasting any time, and really rushes you to save Mipha as fast as possible. Number 8. Rito Village at Night. Rito Village. It's kind of ironic how the music for the Air People's Lair is a remade version of Dragon Roost Island from the most water-filled Zelda game. Yet, it works perfectly. I like the night version a lot more than the day version though. The night version sounds relaxing and calm, while the day version I feel is a little bit annoying with that string instrument. I enjoy it much more on piano. While this may not be a place I would like to live at all, I still think the location is stunningly beautiful with its gorgeous view over the surrounding landscape. It was really satisfying getting here after a long journey, and with this relaxing music, well, I was on the brink of crying. I don't understand how these Rito people are able to sleep outside though, cause it tends to get a little cold there during the night. Number 7. Dark Beast Ganon Phase 1, 2 and 3. Okay, now shit's about to get serious. You stand in front of the most malicious and evil beast that has ever existed in the land of Hyrule, and your task is to destroy it. It's one of the most climactic moments in the history of Zelda, and the music doesn't hide that fact. The electronic organ that starts off the theme is truly tension-rising, and when the battle theme starts playing, it all gets very unsettling. But then the theme does a complete 180 and comes up with this crazy mix-up of lifting and dark. The juxtaposition is crazy and makes you unsure about what to feel. Are we supposed to be scared or hopeful? I think the point of the music is that it lets the player decide. It's an intimidating moment, but you gotta try and let the light overcome that. It's amazing how the theme gets more and more hopeful and the light tones take more and more over the closer you get to destroying Ganon. It's just like Zelda says.
But courage need not be remembered, for it is never forgotten.
Number 6. Hateno Village. Hateno Village is an extremely relaxing place to be in. I feel like it's Breath of the Wild's equivalent to Kakariko Village from Ocarina of Time. I love to just trash about and waste time in this village. It gives me an inner peace. I think the music can take a lot of credit for that, cause this is amazing. It sets off the perfect tone before going out adventuring again. It's a small break in the ever so stressful life of Link. I'd like to think that this is where Link lived before he became Zelda's appointed knight, and that the house you buy there is Link's former house. They did after all say that the owner of the house went for the castle and never returned. That's exactly what Link would have done. I love the house side quest too, it's so relaxing. However, Carson and Bolson should really get off my lawn cause it's disrupting my privacy, if you know what I mean. Number 5. Attack on Vah Naboris. I was addicted to this song for a while. It is so upbeat and fun sounding, kinda weird considering the danger while this music is being played. This totally sounds like something you would hear in Mario Kart. Very fast paced, and I love the Arabic vibe it has. Totally fits the fact that you're battling this beast in the middle of a hot desert. With a hot chick. I love her! Anyway, you can't look away from the fact that controlling these sand seals was pretty darn hard sometimes. I probably failed like 5 times on this segment. Really don't understand why I didn't just rent a trained sand seal instead. So much easier to control. And... Number 4. Tarrytown. Now, if you didn't play this side quest, go and do it right now. Seriously, you're missing out. Tarrytown was one of my favorite parts about Breath of the Wild. It's just something about the way it plays out a totally unique and beautiful story. And it's just a side quest. I always liked this guy Bolson. He seemed like a really nice guy. And when I just randomly met him in the Kala region, of course I wanted to help him build an entire new town. I just have a huge appreciation for this story, and how it transcends into real life. Tarrytown is made with teamwork. It is made from qualities of different people, or tribes. It couldn't be built without a Goron, or without the help of a Rito, or any other species. Likewise, we humans also need to work together, even though we are different. We need to see that as a quality and not the opposite. And I think that is what this side quest transcends. It all just ends with this beautiful marriage between 2 lovely people. How terrific. The music of Tarrytown is perfect for conveying the emotion that it is meant to convey. It's so well thought out how it adds a new element every time a new citizen enters the town. And the main melody is just very beautiful and now also emotional to me. Number 3. Hyrule Castle. The dark and intimidating vibe this music sends off is truly amazing. The way it starts off with its low-pitched organ and then gets louder and louder as the track proceeds is reminiscent of how you feel more and more intimidated the higher you climb up this gigantic, majestic and corrupted castle. You know Zelda is waiting for you at the top, but you also know that Calamity Ganon is, so we are filled with a mix of urgency to save Zelda, as well as a fear for the great calamity that almost killed you 100 years ago. In those regards, it is very appropriate how you can hear both Ganon's and Zelda's theme within this theme. It's a very nice touch that really makes you understand how much thought and effort was put into the soundtrack. If you've played any of the previous Zelda titles, you may also recognize the Ballad of Windfish and Link's theme in here. I honestly don't know how they could have made this theme any better. The way it manages to be symbolic, dramatic and encouraging at the same time is truly masterful. This is, in my opinion, the best castle infiltration music we have ever gotten in a Zelda game. Just above Hyrule Castle from A Link Between Worlds. Number 2. Attack on Vah Ruta. As I mentioned earlier, Vah Ruta was my first divine beast in this game, and until that, the game had been really calm. You know, some traveling, fighting some bad guys, and talking to some good guys. But then bam! This sequence caught me by surprise and gave me such a rush. I'm pretty sure my heart rate raised to near maximum as I slow-mo aimed in on Vah Ruta with the rain pouring down and this amazing music playing in the background. This was such an amazing gaming experience, and something I will remember for a long time to come. Not sure if it was for those that didn't understand that you could use the cryonis to crush the blocks though. So many wasted arrows. Anyway, yet again we see how the composer Manoka Katuka really stayed to her promise with using a lot of piano in her tracks. It is pretty unusual to use piano in such a loud and powerful track, but it works really great in this theme. I think it is because of the juxtaposition it creates. And if you don't know what juxtaposition means, it is when you mix two contrasting things together. In this case, a loud orchestral piece together with clean and light piano notes. It is a weird choice, and it could have ended up destroying the grandness of the theme, but instead it creates this very special setting which is surprisingly fitting. I think it is because the light piano notes are supposed to portray Vah Ruta's innocence in all of this. Vah Ruta didn't do anything wrong, it is a pure and kind creation, but due to the water blight Ganon that has taken control of it, it unwillingly hurts the environment. So, you're forced to fight it. And that is where the powerful part comes into play. As a little bonus here, I urge you to check out the metal cover created for this theme by Simon Loveridge. He is killing it with this theme. Link is in the description. So the number 1 spot is... Okay, hold on a second. Zelda Breath of the Wild has much more than 10 good tracks. Way more! And I do absolutely not have the heart to make a list about the music of this game without mentioning them. I even wrote the script for 5 of these themes, but due to those scripts not being very good in my opinion, plus it would be much more editing, I left them out. But oh well, I just hope you understand that I really love the following tracks also, although they're not included in the list. The Temple of Time, Hyrule Castle Town, Sheikah Tower, Abandoned North Mine, and Hyrule Field are all great examples of this soundtrack's more ambient and atmospheric pieces. These tracks made exploring a post-apocalyptic Hyrule much more enjoyable, because they all perfectly fit the melancholic setting of the game. Gerudo Town and Zora's Domain are both great town themes that fits their respective tribes like hand in glove. All the champions have really emotional music, and I especially enjoy Daruk's theme. The Akkala Ancient Tech Lab and the Parasailing minigame both make me super happy. I really wish I could talk about them. Also Molduga Battle, Cass's theme, Fight Against Vah Medo Dungeon, Varidania Dungeon, Talos Battle, and Dragon Encounter are really great. As I mentioned earlier, I even wrote the script for Sidon's theme, Korok Forest, Boss Battle theme, and Varidania Dungeon. I really love all of these tracks, but none of them as much as the number 1 spot. Number 1, credits and trailer theme. Zelda Breath of the Wild is one of the best video games I've ever played, and I'm sure it's gonna go down as one of the greats in video game history. This beautiful piece is not only a great melody, it is also the theme that will forever make us think back to this glorious game. It is the theme that properly introduced us to Zelda Breath of the Wild, and it is the theme that played while the curtains closed. It will always be remembered as the proper theme of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and I can honestly say, it couldn't be more deserved because this is one of the best pieces of music my ears have ever been exposed to. Now, if you made it this far, you're one of my favorite types of people. Thank you. Remember to check out some of my playlists for more music countdowns or other types of videos. Links are in the description. Also remember to tell me what's your favorite track from Zelda Breath of the Wild, or even your top 10. It's interesting to see which tracks you guys liked and which we have in common. Make sure to leave a like if you want to see more music countdowns like this, and subscribe if you haven't yet. So long, Thedekuseeds.